Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. Funding for Chautauqua Sunrise is provided in part by the Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency, with offices in Jamestown and Dunkirk, helping businesses to prosper throughout Chautauqua County. From supporting people with disabilities to enjoy great lives to providing health care services that are available to anyone, the Resource Center has been improving our county for more than 60 years. Learn more about how the Resource Center makes a positive difference in people's lives. From the Access Chautauqua Studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Chautauqua. We are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week from 9 to 10 a.m. Send events via email or call us live. Check us out on YouTube and Facebook. And now, from the Access Chautauqua Studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I'm Doc Hamels, and welcome to Chautauqua Sunrise. We have another great edition here. This is the 425th show that we've done. That's pretty darn cool. Hope you're having a great weekend, and the weather looks pretty good for today. I guess we're supposed to get some sprinkles tomorrow and on Monday, but hey, it's that time of year, I guess. Happy Labor Day weekend. It just sort of snuck up on me anyways. I don't know about you. It's September. That just doesn't even seem possible. I know we did a lot of things this summer at our house, but it's amazing. But as they say right along, we still have a lot of summer left and a lot of good stuff going on here in the county. Lots of events, lots of farmers markets, good produce. Wineries are in full swing collecting and harvesting their grapes for some really delicious beverages. You've got still fishing contests and good fishing period, kayaking and hiking and camping. Museums and art galleries and gosh, it's just all kinds of great stuff around here. Theater is coming back and of course live music everywhere. So I hope you're having a great morning, great weekend, and I want to say good morning to everyone around the world that's watching right now. Our friends in the Ukraine, our friends over in the Netherlands, over into down in Miami, over into wherever, Ohio, Michigan, and across into Oregon, wherever you're watching. I hope you're all doing well. It's a good weekend for travel. It's a good weekend for families getting together. So be careful when you're traveling. Be extra cognizant that next week school starts. Did you just hear that, Justin? There was a bunch of parents cheering me on. Next week, kids go back to school. Kids are excited, maybe. I know the parents are very excited, and I know the teachers are always excited to see their kids come in and all their new book bags and their school clothes. It's an exciting time.
Well, good thing it's wine season.
Good thing it's wine season, yeah. Well, anyways, it's a fun time to be in Chautauqua.
Why it's wine season.
Yeah, it's a good time to be in Chautauqua County. Anyways, we have a great show in store for you today. We're going to be talking about the Westfield Memorial Hospital, and we have the administrator here today who's going to be discussing all the great services there and some great events coming up next weekend. As far as this month as well, we've got a really interesting lineup of shows for September. So I hope you are able to tune in. If you can't, remember that it's possible to watch the show every day at 2 and 8 right here on 1301 on Spectrum, or you can catch us on YouTube, and the shows will be there as long as YouTube's around, I guess. But we got some good shows. I'm not going to tell you about them because at least one of them is going to be. I can't even begin to tell you how excited I am about the show. I'm excited about all the shows, but this one is just totally off the charts, and you'll see. And that's going to be next week. So do try to check in on that one. Okay, I got to remind you that you can call in if you have a question for myself, a comment, a question for my guest. You can give us a call at 716-753-5225. And you can email us during the week if you have a club or organization that you're having a fundraiser, an event, something you want to share with the rest of the world, literally. And we'll be happy to get it on. I also want to say good afternoon to all my listeners on WRFA 107.9, low power to the people in Jamestown. How cool is this that we're able to share all the good stuff over on this side of the county with stuff on that side of the county? And guess what? Stuff from that side of the county sends their stuff over to this side of the county, and I get to announce it and share it with this group. So we are pretty cohesive. We're pretty much boundaryless here at the station, and we get information all across the county, and we're happy to share it with you because we can through the media, right? All right. I have to apologize. Last week, in our excitement, we announced the wrong date for the Walk for Alzheimer's. We were referencing a different fundraiser date for the Sunshine Group there. So let me correct it now for the record. October 1 is the date for the Alzheimer's Walk. That's going to be up at Point Gratiot. And we're going to be talking more about that as we get closer to that. But October 1st will be the walk. All right? Now, I got a press release the other day from the Chamber of Commerce for Chautauqua County, and I want to do some shout outs because they're going to be giving out some awards this year, as they do every year. And I'm not going to go through all of them because there's quite a few, but I did want to mention a few, and especially the fact that at least a couple of these folks have been generous with their time and been guests on my show. So, not too long ago, this summer, Steve Cobb was on my show, and he's being honored as the Person of the Year. He's the Executive Director of the Mental Health Association for Chautauqua County, and he was nominated for this award by his organization's board president, Kimberly Lombard, who noted Steve's leadership and genuine approach have garnered him and MHA community respect. This respect has allowed services to our neighbors with behavioral health issues to grow and so on. So Steve was good enough to grace us with his appearance here, and good on Steve. Congratulations being the Person of the Year for the Chautauqua County Chamber of Commerce. Moving along, I want to give a shout out to Dan Palmer at WDOE. Although I've not really worked with Dan, I've worked more with Dave Raleigh up there over the years, but Dan has been selected as the Community Service Award recipient for the Dunkirk Community Chamber, and he's been working in radio for 49 years. Makes me look like an infant here as far as TV, and he's broadcast play-by-play for more than 2,000 local high school, youth sports, and SUNY Fredonia sporting events. He also hosts a popular morning show on WDOE from 6 to 9 a.m. So I can't complain about being here at 9 a.m. Anyways, Dan and I have crossed paths up there, so congratulations, Dan, being a fellow media person. And then, let me jump down here, a couple other people here I want to mention. The Mayville Chautauqua Community Chamber, so I see it right here in Mayville, will present the Community Service Award for their chamber to Fairleigh Fisher for her 27 years of work opening and managing the thrift store in Mayville as part of the St. Paul's Episcopal Church outreach. All right, so good on her. And finally, a friend of mine, someone that's been on the show a number of times, and I know she watches the show. She might be watching right now. Sue Poster is the former coordinator of the Westfield Barcelona Community Chamber of Commerce, and she'll be receiving its Community Service Award this year. She's been deeply involved in projects and programs in the Westfield region for many years, going well above and beyond her work for the Chamber. She has served on the board of the Lakeshore Center for the Arts and the Westfield Fund. She was involved with the creation of the First Responders Tribute in Westfield and assisted with the Village Beautification Committee and the Farmers Market and Cemetery Tours and the Lincoln Festival that's coming up next week. So anyways, Sue, congratulations, and to all the others I mentioned. So glad that we've had the opportunity to know you through the show here and just through other channels. So it's nice to see people being recognized for what they do. They're the silent heroes in our communities, eh? Okay, so I have some announcements to make. And this comes from our friends over in Jamestown at the Infinity. The Infinity and Visual Performing Arts Center in downtown Jamestown is looking for motivated teenagers in the county who would like to join a performance group. Performance, for those that are listening on the radio, that would be music. Whether you've always wanted to front a band as a lead singer, rock out on a drum kit, hold down the groove on a bass player, or a riff on a guitar, Infinity offers all that you need to make those dreams come true. And there's a picture of a rock group. Kind of reminds me of my early days. Infinity's executive director, Shane Hawkins, expressed her excitement about Infinity's new program this year. This past few years have been challenging for so many of us in so many ways. We're excited to kickstart our new year with these auditions and signups. Infinity's new ensembles will begin rehearsals in the upcoming program year, which begins this week of September 19th. Auditions for Infinity ensembles are open to current Infinity students as well as any student in the area who's performance ready and wants to be involved in this type of opportunity. Man, I'll tell you, I say this over and over and over and over again. I apologize for that, but gosh, if some of us had been afforded the opportunity to have a Infinity when we grew up, we were budding musicians. I mean, some of us could have really catapulted our careers in music far and beyond what we have right now, I think. So this is just such a wonderful opportunity for young folks. Ensemble audition dates are currently set to take place at the Infinity Center at 301 East 2nd Street, Monday, September 12th from 3:30 to 5:30, Tuesday, the 13th, 3:30 to 5:30. Students should come prepared with one or two songs in the genre or style of the group that they'd like to audition for. Please contact Infinity Center at 664-0991 and tell them know that you'll be attending auditions. Okay? Besides these auditions in these ensembles, the Infinity also has group classes starting in its new program year, which starts the 19th as well. Advanced Art, Available Light Photography, Best Part of Me Photography Series, Contemporary Dance, Creative Dance, Duos and Trios Vocal Ensemble, Focused and Fun Teen Leadership Class, General Art, Infinity Folk Ensemble, Jam Session, Landscape Painting, Musical Theater Dance, Musical Theater Project, Rising Stars Performance Prep Group, Sculpting, Songwriting Lab, and Theater Class. Holy mackerel. There's something there for everybody. Okay, good on Infinity. Let's move on, Jeff. The Sunshine Charity Fund that we talked about last week with Alice Conti. This is a reminder that it's going to be held September 24th, the Monte Carlo night at the Sheridan VFW over there on 2556 Main Road in Silver Creek. It's from 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. The doors open at 4 o'clock for music, hors d'oeuvres, and a basket raffle opportunities. Gaming will go from 6 to 10 p.m. And as you may remember, the Sunshine Charity Fund provides funds for families that have been stricken with the loss of a young child in their family, ages 1 through 19, and they provide some money for funeral costs up to $1,000. So this is going to help them to keep doing what they're doing. Okay. Speaking of fundraisers, our good friends at WRFA have their fundraiser coming up. Let's get that slide up. It's that time of year again. WRFA is gearing up for their annual Fall Pledge Drive, taking place September 9th through the 16th to coincide with their 18th anniversary of hitting the airwaves and bringing non-commercial community radio to the greater Jamestown area. And I'm proud to say that we're on the radio, as I mentioned earlier, with them for the last several years, and I'm glad to be part of the WRFA family. It was, excuse me. It was September 13th, 2004, when WRFA officially began broadcasting at 107.9 FM. Since then, they've seen broadcasting 24/7 on the local airwaves, while also being featured on numerous other media platforms, including their official website, WRFALP.com, SoundCloud, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and we talk about them here too. And also their free mobile app, which I have on my phone. As a result of their continuous growth, WRFA is now one of the leading and most trusted sources of news and information in Chautauqua County, exemplifying what is possible for community radio with support from local residents and businesses. If you enjoy any of the local produced nationally syndicated program on WRFA, please consider donating any amount of your choosing during their pledge by visiting the donate page on the website between September 9 and September 16th. You can sign up for a one-time payment or a monthly or quarterly donation. No donation is too small, but if you donate $50, you'll receive a limited edition WRFA t-shirt. A donation of $100 will also get you a limited edition coffee mug. As you know, last year I modeled my t-shirt, and it was really cool. Our name was on the back of it and everything, and so I take that with great pride as I walk around town with that t-shirt. All right. Boy, I got a frog in there today. Next slide, WMH, Westfield Memorial Hospital. Okay, nope, that's not it. Try again. We'll get it. There we go. Wow. 2020 award winner. Okay. Guardian of Excellence Award. All right, I have a short article here that I just want to brief because we're going to talk more about this with my guest here in a minute. But for those that are watching or listening, on the radio, you've got Rodney Buchanan, who's the administrator of the hospital, as well as the chairman of the board, Helen Barron, who are standing with this huge banner indicating that the hospital was an award winner. So let's see what it says here. Sitting before the entrance to a proud healthcare facility on East Main Street is a wooden train bearing the slogan, "The Little Hospital That Could." It speaks to the resiliency and determination by a board of directors and a staff of about 90 folks, and the dedication of 13 communities on the southwestern end of Chautauqua County. Westfield Memorial is not only maintaining in an unstable era of healthcare, it is growing while meeting the needs of those services. That is much different scenario than what many would have expected some 16 years ago when the state's Burger Commission, a task force formed to look at health care across the state, issued its report. Other hospitals in Chautauqua County combine services together locally and out of state. Westfield, however, appeared to be on an island and living on borrowed time. Helen Barron, chairwoman for the hospital's board of directors, understood the target that the burger had placed on the facility close to her heart at the time. Instead of writing an epitaph, she and other leaders went to battle. "We had to fight a war to survive. People don't understand rural areas," Barron said. Later noting, "You're a rural hospital when the deer population outweighs the people." So anyways, we're going to talk more about this, and my guest is going to be Rodney Buchanan, who will be on the air here shortly. So I won't steal his thunder on that, but congratulations, Westfield Memorial Hospital. It is also near and dear to my heart. You're one of our underwriters here, and I have been a proud member of 2 boards there over the years, and so Good for you. So finally, let's go to some events that are coming up for this weekend. All right. This is a throwback to what I was mentioning earlier. Kids are going back to school, so let's kind of keep an eye out for those little munchkins using crosswalks and sidewalks. They don't always quite understand how the lights work, and they got to look out for cars coming. So they kind of start talking, just like all of us. And so just be aware, especially next week. A lot of kids will be going to school for the first time or just getting back to school. Be prepared to stop for children and adults using crosswalks. Be careful of children who are waiting for their buses on driveways, curbs, sidewalks near the roadway. Be mindful of school bus stop ahead signs, especially around the curves and near hills that can block drivers' views. If a bus has its yellow lights flashing, it means the bus is preparing to stop, so drivers should slow down and be prepared to stop their vehicles. And when approaching a school bus with its red lights flashing or its stop signs out, all lanes of traffic must stop, including oncoming traffic. All lanes. By obeying the laws of the road and being aware of their surroundings, drivers can help do their part in ensuring everyone has a safe school year. So congratulations, teachers. I hope you're all ready. Kids, get excited because you're going to be going back to school next week. All right. And then finally, this weekend, including tomorrow, Findlay Lake Harvest Festival. Wait a minute. Along routes 426 and 430 in Findlay Lake. Festivities run yesterday through Sunday. Today from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. There'll be crafters, vendors, wine tasting, live music, foods and kids and carnival and all kinds of stuff. For more information, give them a call at 769-5000. Okay, then this weekend as well, Cassadaga Labor Day Festival in the village of Cassadaga. Festivities kick off today at 8 a.m. with a Cassadaga Man Triathlon, Mark Wilson and Company. Triathlon starting at the beach. On Sunday, events run from 12:30 to 7 and feature a farmer's market, chicken barbecue, boat parade, and live music. On Monday, there will be a craft and vendor show from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. At the Cassadaga Fire Hall, a grand parade along Maple Avenue at 11, and a duck derby and bicycle walk dice run. For more information, give them a call over there at Cassadaga, probably at the Village Hall. All right, and then, so let's see, September 4th, that would be tomorrow. The annual Jamestown Labor Day Festival, 11 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. at Bergman Park. Baker Street in Jamestown. Celebrate our local workforce with a day filled with fun for the whole family. There will be live music, craft, food vendors, kids activities, and a George Ritzer Labor Award presentation. The day concludes with fireworks at 8:30 p.m. Woo! Lot to go, lots of things to see. All right, I'm going to take a breather, and we've got a public service announcement.
Every budget, so don't accept defeat.
Now you can get covered and still buy me treats.
You take care of your pets. Now it's their turn to take care of you. Visit getcoveredamerica.org to learn about your health insurance options.
Okay, I missed one more announcement. Sip and Paint at the Ripley Library. It'll be held next Friday from 6 to 8 p.m. Pumpkin Fest class includes all art supplies, step-by-step instruction, and a pre-sketched canvas. Cost is $35 per person, reservation required, and it's a bring your own bottle, BYOB. Payment due at the time of reservation, and give them a call at the library and talk with Rhonda Thompson on that. So, Sip and Paint. All right, enough on that. I want to welcome to our show right now our guest, Rodney Buchanan, who is the administrator of the Westfield Memorial Hospital. That's a mouthful. Woo. Rod, thanks for coming in today. I know you had a little bit of a hike to get here from Mill Creek, Pennsylvania, right?
Correct.
So, Rod, tell us a little bit about yourself. Today was the first time I've met you, so how long have you been associated with the system, and how'd you get involved and all that good stuff?
Yeah, so I've been with AHN, St. Vincent AHN, since 2010.
Okay.
I got hired over there as a nurse manager for their cardiac intensive care unit, and after being in that position for a couple of years, I moved up to a director position to cover the emergency department and critical care, and then eventually started overseeing the behavioral health area as well. Just recently, about a year ago, last July, I was brought up here to Westfield to oversee the hospital operations here and continue on the good work that has been going on for quite some time.
Yeah, like 70-some years, I think, right?
Yes.
So what did you do before 2010?
Before that, I've been a nurse since 1999, mainly in critical care, emergency medicine. I was in a volunteer fire service prior to that. That's what got me into the healthcare field. And spent about 10 years of that time frame as a flight nurse on a helicopter. So I got a volunteer fire department background plus the flight nurse background in EMS. Very interesting job, by the way. A lot of stuff to see. And I actually flew in the local area for a little while. Covered Erie and Chautauqua County, plus Pittsburgh and over in Ohio.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah, and then would fill in shifts frequently, like in Washington D.C., Baltimore, York, Pennsylvania, because we had bases over there as well. So I've been.
You were down in Washington?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Children's National when they opened up their flight program. So.
Holy mackerel. Jeff, let's pop up Rod's title again, because I want to look at your initials. That's always interesting to me when we have these different things. So let's kind of go through your initials real carefully.
Sure. So the MSN is a Master's in Nursing Science, and that is a degree that I completed probably about 10 years ago, and I'm currently working on my doctorate in nursing practice right now.
Good for you.
The RN is the registered nurse, the CFRN is a certified flight nurse, and I maintain that certification because that certification is kind of a dual, it has a lot of critical care concepts to it and emergency medicine concepts to it.
Keeps you fresh in the business, right?
It does, yes. And then working at Westfield, you see everything. So as a hospital administrator, I have the ability to help out if they need help with clinically. I can help out with maintenance. If they need stuff, like I was plowing snow earlier this year because they needed help with that.
Everybody.
Drawing blood, whatever I need to do. So it's important for me to kind of maintain those certifications as well, so I can keep up with that.
So you're sort of like Chris Clark. He's still working in this field. I mean, he's the head of the whole St. Vincent's show there, but he still sees patients, and so as administrator, you still get to do work right there too.
Exactly. So, and that's kind of AHN's model. So the head leaders that they want of facilities, they still want them to be clinically connected, and I think that's an important concept at Allegheny Health Network, is that you want to be able to have that connection, because it's really hard to lead a hospital if you don't know what's going on at the bedside. Because that's really what the patient feels and what the patient sees, and so you have to be able to get yourself to maintain that connection with them.
Really immersed in what's going on day to day.
Absolutely.
I think that's great. I'm curious about, you said you're working on your doctoral degree. Okay, so what do you get when you get your doctoral degree? For instance, I have a PhD, so what would you get?
So I would be a DNP, so it's a doctorate in,
DNP, that's a new one on me.
Yeah, doctorate in nursing practice.
Okay.
So, and basically what that degree is you go through the process of implementing a project from start to finish, and then documenting all the results of that, and then it's able to be published if a journal picks it up. But
where are you doing this through?
Right now I'm at Penn West Edinburgh.
Okay.
I was at Grand Canyon University, and I just transferred over to Penn West Edinburgh in May.
Okay. So how far along are you?
I should be done in May. So,
oh my gosh, good for you.
Yeah, so I'm nearing the end. Yeah, I'm at the point where I'm getting ready to implement my project, and I'll be doing that at
How long have you been doing this?
I've been in for 2 years.
Okay, well that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I've talked to people that what they used to call ABD, all about the dissertation.
Yes.
They've been in doctoral programs for like 7-8 years, and you go like, when are you going to finish? Well, I'm getting there. I'm getting. But I know that a lot of these doctoral programs, they really move you along, and they don't want you to be hanging out for 7-8 years.
Correct.
So, Dr. Buchanan, that's a great sound, isn't it? I used to have a little card I used to put on top of my computer while I was going through the trials and tribulations of getting through the work of of becoming a PhD. And he said, Dr. Hamels. I kept saying that to myself all the time. And because it's a lonely course. I mean, there's nobody out there. I mean, you have your advisors, but the work's really on you.
Right.
So, and what's your project about?
It was actually about sepsis identification in the emergency department setting. So we do a really good job with identifying in healthcare cardiac patients who may be having a heart attack, stroke patients. But we don't do a great job of identifying patients who are presenting with a sepsis infection or a systemic infection of sorts. And really sepsis is beyond just a little fever and we treat with antibiotics and send you home. It's more of a systemic infection where that organism is taken over your body. So the problem with it is it presents the same as many other types of things. And so it's kind of hard to discern what it actually is when you get to the emergency department. And so my project really is kind of focusing on some key vital signs and clinical presentation for the clinician so that they're able to hone in on, this could be a potential sepsis patient. Let's obtain these lab values, which will help diagnose that condition. If we can do that sooner, we'll be able to identify the condition sooner, get antibiotics started sooner, IV fluid started sooner. So, and then you can decrease your mortality after that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've heard scary things about sepsis, so it's terrific. Where was I going to go with that? Okay, so you said we don't do a very good job. You're not talking about anybody in particular. You're talking about the medical field as a whole. Medical
field as a whole, yeah.
Okay.
It's a tough, and it's because it's a confusing presentation. That's why it's difficult to, because you can, sometimes diabetes can mimic it. Other health conditions can mimic it as well. And it kind of blurs the lines, if you will.
Sure. Well, people all the time will say, well, for instance, last week we were talking about dementia. And as soon as you forget something, people think immediately they have dementia. Well, no, this is being stress related. So they had their criteria that you kind of look for, the checklist. So it sounds like you're sort of developing the same thing.
Correct.
Oh, that's great. Okay, so you've been in the role of administrator at Westfield Memorial Hospital. And tell us a little bit about this award that I was referencing, because I didn't want to go into it without, the real background on it. But I'm so happy that you received it. So, first of all, what's it for, and who awarded it to you?
So, Press Ganey is the national company that does your patient satisfaction scores across the country. They maintain the database, and they essentially set the bars for where you should be performing at. And so, actually, you can break it down by weekly, but we really look at it constantly for patient satisfaction.
Right.
And it's a constantly moving bar, if you think about it, because different things that are coming up, like the pandemic, for example, kind of lowered that bar a little bit, if you can think about it from that perspective. And so they kind of set that benchmark for where you should perform at. So Westfield was able to obtain the Guardian Award, which is probably the highest award that they have, and it's for patient satisfaction. So for
the banner said the top 5% of all hospitals in the United States?
Yes, yeah.
Top 5%? I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of hospitals. I mean, that's really pretty darn awesome.
It's not easy to do that. And the thing to point out during this time is this was also during COVID. So
after you got there, you guys went right to the top.
Right. Well, it wasn't just me. No, it's a team effort. So some of this stuff was already.
The other 90 people might have had something to do with it.
Have a lot to do with it, actually. Yes. No, and also prior leadership that was here as well. So Dr. Clark and Karen Sakala, they also had a major part in that. So, yeah, it's you don't get that award by not working well as a team, and so that was essentially what that was. And during a very difficult time frame, because it was tough with COVID. It was hard to get patients, visitors to see them. The nursing staff were all garbed up with masks and gowns, and it was kind of a difficult time. So, and then to maintain that for the whole time frame for that award is not an easy task either. So my hat is definitely off to the staff at Westfield Hospital. They're the ones that really earned that award for sure.
Coming over here today, maybe you even saw it. There's a billboard, I think, between Westfield and Mayville, and it says something like, "If you have an emergency, come to Westfield. Less wait time." Or that was the message. I think. I don't think I have it in the right order. So what was that? What's that all about?
It's about our turnaround times in the emergency department. Our average time to get you from the registration to discharge in the emergency department is about a 2-hour time frame, which is, again, meets national benchmark standards. It's like an orchestra. So you come in, it's how quickly we get you registered. It's how quickly the nurse gets you triaged. It's how quickly the lab gets your results turned around. Radiology gets your results read. The physician gets to see you. So it's not any one single entity that goes into that metric. But when you're able to when everyone's firing on all cylinders and you're able to meet that metric, that's why we can advertise those types of times.
This is not any particular hospital that I'm referencing right now. I'm going to reference a number of people I've talked to over the years that had an emergency. And I think you probably know where I'm going to go with this, is traditionally people say they were waiting 4 hours. Mm-hmm. They were waiting for a bed. They were waiting to see the doctor, whatever. And you're telling me that if you have an emergency, you go in there and you're out the door in 2 hours?
On a general basis.
Obviously there's
obviously
more critical
days.
care and things like that.
Yeah.
But, if you have a not so major issue.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I also know, if I'm not mistaken, I think someone was on the show once upon a time that said from the time you hit the registration desk to the time you see a doctor was hardly any time at all.
Yeah, we keep that. We have a goal of 15 minutes. We run right about 15 to 18 minutes to see a physician.
And again, that's really unheard of. We got a phone call. You want to take a call?
Sure.
Okay, here goes. I don't know who it is. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Jack. Good morning, Rodney. This is Linda Spalding.
Hi, Lynn.
And I want to mention how much I appreciate having Westfield Hospital, and we all rallied to keep our hospital there in Westfield. And I am very grateful because it saves lives having a hospital so close to us. And thank you.
Whoa.
Oh, thank you.
How's that for
thank you.
an opening comment? Well, good morning, Lynn. I'm assuming your family over the years has used their services?
Oh, yes, definitely. I have used their services. I have had emergencies, more than one. And Doug did, and my grandson, and people I know. Mm-hmm. So we're so happy. And it was quite a threat to think that hospital might not be in existence today.
I was around at that time during the Burger Commission that was talking about closing the place, and they just didn't understand geography and the needs of the local people, I guess, at the time. And it was we were just a number on a piece of paper, right?
Yeah, right. They, places like Albany and big cities, they don't understand rural communities.
Not at all.
They're very different.
Yeah.
Very different.
Yeah, especially when people talk about going to the hospital like 5 blocks away. I mean, we're talking miles away, in many cases. Lynn, think about it. Since you mentioned, and I know you guys were supportive of the hospital at the time, we go from the Burger Commission that wanted to close the hospital to today we're talking about them getting this award in the top 5%. I mean, they were wrong.
Yes, they were wrong. Mm-hmm. And I'm so happy for that.
Good.
Yeah.
So
it's a wonderful hospital.
And the other thing is, you walk in there, it's clean, it's friendly. It's like it's like going into a hotel. I mean, the color scheme is wonderful, the big cushy chairs and all that stuff. The staff is nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I love that hospital. Well, nobody wants to go to the hospital because nobody wants to be sick. But be in need of something like that as a patient, everybody wants to be well. But it is a wonderful service to our community to have that hospital.
Okay, there you go.
All
right, Lynn. Well, thanks for calling. That's a great compliment.
Yes, well, it's a great place, and thank you for being on the show. And I wish you a wonderful Labor Day weekend.
You too. You do anything special?
Oh yes, I'm doing all kinds of special things. I'm visiting with friends, and I'm going with my grandson and my great-grandchildren on the Chautauqua Bell. I guess we're going to be picking it up in Jamestown tomorrow.
Oh, wow, that's going to be fun. Oh, great. Yeah. All right, we'll have a lovely weekend, and let's hope the weather stays nice. Okay?
Yes.
Thanks, Lynn.
All right, thank you. You too.
Bye-bye now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Whew. I remember getting our COVID shots there, and Kathy Petroff had that finely tuned I mean, we were in and out of there like in 15 minutes from the time we hit the front door, got our shot, checked this, well, maybe a little more than 15 minutes because you got to sit around a little bit.
Right.
But I mean, bang, 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 bang. And it was so professional. And a lot of people were very, very uneasy about getting those first vaccinations. And it was great.
Yeah.
Super great.
No, the staff there are amazing. They do an exceptional job, for sure. And she's right. The community is very fortunate to have that resource there.
And I know that maybe, instead of me saying this, how about you explain this? You mentioned AHN. So we mentioned St. Vincent. So can you kind of explain to people that whole chain?
Yeah, I certainly can. So St. Vincent was their own independent hospital in Erie for a long time. They've been in existence for quite some time. And as part of the Burger Commission, it was referenced in the one article that you're reading, Westfield and St. Vincent had developed a partnership to help keep both entities afloat, essentially. The community hospital is an important asset in a rural community because that's your stopgap, right? That's your primary care, that's your chronic disease management, that's your emergency medicine that you need at a moment's notice. But you have to have a good tertiary partner to refer to, and St. Vincent has been that partner for. So
tertiary mean the next level up.
Next level up, yep. So that the next level of healthcare. So. But as the healthcare environment has changed financially, from an insurance company perspective and whatnot, we've been noticing a lot of insurance companies have been helping to keep hospitals running. We both need each other. We have to have insurance companies. Insurance companies have to have hospitals, and that's just the way it turns out. So Allegheny Health Network, AHN, was developed and that's in conjunction with Highmark Health, which is the insurer.
And these folks are down in Pittsburgh, right?
Yeah, they have a headquarters in Pittsburgh, and there's also Health Now, which is now Highmark Buffalo as well. So they're getting a footprint in New York as well. So that also helps us here in the Westfield area.
Yeah.
They developed Allegheny Health Network to kind of help have that hospital arm of the insurance product, if you will. That allows patients to be cared for in a timely manner, all the care that you receive both at the community level, at the tertiary level, which is the next level up, and there's another level called the quaternary level, which is like at the highest of the highs. So our quaternary facility that we have within AHN is Allegheny General Hospital in Pittsburgh. And those facilities, is where you see like your organ transplants and things like that done. So it's an even higher specialty than a tertiary facility.
Okay, so with that being said, you have different levels of hospitals. You have this very intricate connection chain of other hospitals called AHN. I think they're down in Warren.
There's an affiliation.
They're all over the place, right? And so when somebody has an issue, you break an arm, you go to Westfield Memorial Hospital, they fix you up. Have a heart attack,
got to go somewhere else.
But they'll triage you. They'll take care of you, they'll stabilize you, and then transport you. Correct. People always got this feeling, well, why am I going to Westfield when I should be going to St. Vincent? Because you don't have time to get to St. Vincent. You want to go right away for some of these emergencies, get taken care of, and then move on, right?
Right, because Westfield has all the stabilizing capability. We just don't have the long-term treatment. So if you come in with a heart attack, there's a medication I can give you that'll break up that clot.
Okay.
Because that's really what's causing the heart attack. Then we move you to St. Vincent for the rest of the cardiac care. But that stops that emergent event that's occurring that's giving you the heart attack. That stops that right here in Westfield. So you don't have to, because the longer you wait, the more heart muscle dies.
Okay. And the question that a lot of people say, well, I'll go to Westfield, but I doctor at Hammett. Is that an issue?
No, not at all.
You don't care? You're save
doesn't
lives.
matter to me. Yep, it doesn't matter to me. We would transfer you to Hammett. We can transfer you to Buffalo. Transfer to Erie. Wherever we need to go, or if we can just handle it there, we'll just discharge you from there.
Okay. So. You can't be all things to all people. So that's you're not that kind of. What is Westfield Memorial Hospital? I mean, some people call it a clinic, some people call it emergency care, some people call it, it's gone by different titles over the years. So how would you describe the hospital?
It is a hospital. So we do have an inpatient area, so we can admit you there. And we're trying to expand that. And that actually, if you look at our data over the last year and a half, We used to have an average daily census of a half, 0.5, and now we're running an average daily census of 2. So that is continuing to go up.
So what you mean is you have people in bed?
In bed,
in the
yeah,
hospital.
we're admitting, and in fact, we've been admitting so many people to Westfield that we've actually opened up our dietary services as well, so that we can actually provide a more nutritious meal while you're there that's tailored to your health conditions.
Wow.
So if you're cardiac or diabetes or if you have GI issues or something like that, our dietitian and our head chef will custom your meal to you, so that you're getting what you need while you're being cared for. It also helps with the healing process, so which is why it's important.
So is this a cafeteria?
We have a cafeteria open. It's open from noon to 1:30 every day for the staff and then any visitors that are there getting care done for outpatient stuff. They're more than welcome to purchase food there as well. But the main purpose of it was for patients that are admitted. And our chef also prepares food for the emergency department as well, because sometimes you come in and 9 o'clock at night, you haven't had anything to eat all day, and you might need something. So, yeah.
Okay. The question just came through from someone that was listening. Are there expansion plans for the hospital?
Yeah, so we are looking at right now of expanding to another 4 beds upstairs. So we're in the process of working with the Department of Health on that. So we only have 4 licensed beds right now. We're looking to expand that to 8. That'll probably take us into next year to get all that done.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about beds. I think people think 4 beds. How can that possibly? You go to Buffalo General, they got 500. I'm making this up. 500 beds or whatever. So I mean, 4 beds is nothing. But this is all controlled by New York State, right?
It is, yeah. So you referenced the Burger Commission. That was part of the Burger Commission requirements. So in order for Westfield to stay open, they had to reduce their footprint, if you will.
Right.
I mean, at one point they had 30 beds. So that has decreased down to 4. We are noticing, and just by looking at our data and then looking at the community health needs assessment that we do, the chronic conditions are continuing to rise, the age is continuing to rise, and so that means there's more demand for care in the community, which is why we're looking at that. That's also why we've expanded other services, such as bringing in a cardiac ultrasound or echo in 5 days a week. Just upgraded our nuclear camera so that we can provide better testing and for the stuff like that. We're in the process right now of replacing our mammogram and our DEXA scanner. So we're watching the trends, and we're making purposeful decisions to upgrade things to provide that level of service to the community.
So where does all that money come from?
It comes from revenue that you generate at the hospital. It also comes from Allegheny Health Network, and also comes from Highmark. And so that's why, back to that whole conversation with AHN, that's why it's important to be linked up with somebody, because you do need to have that financial backing to support that level of service.
So as they give you money, you make money that makes them money. I mean, it's
Correct,
like a
yeah.
cycle that keeps going. That's a good partnership. When you said chronic conditions that continue here in the county, we have an aging population. That's not a secret here. So what do you mean? What do you mean by chronic conditions?
Cardiac conditions, congestive heart failure, diabetes. You've got pulmonary conditions, lung cancers, emphysema, things like that. When we look at those types of chronic conditions, that's what we're seeing. If you're diabetic, we know you can look down the continuum of your life and know that your demand for care is going to go like this, just because of how the disease process works with your body. And so knowing that and trending that with the county health department, you can almost forecast what you're going to have to provide care for in the future. So we do a community health needs assessment that we work on in conjunction with the county health department, and we do that every 3 years, and they do one for the county every 3 years as well. That's what drives a lot of our decisions. So when I see these trends, then that tells me then as a clinician that I need to prepare for
Gear up.
next.
Yeah.
I need to, so congestive heart failure, for example, is one of the things that we definitely see in the county. And that can be from anything. It can be from an infection, it can be from a former heart attack, genetics, just have a bad heart. Regardless, in order to manage that condition, you have to have the ability to do cardiac ultrasound, which is why we went down that path of getting the cardiac ultrasound in here, training the staff up to do that. So that was one purposeful decision that we made. The other one we made based off of COVID, which we don't see that ending anytime soon, but it also has play with other infectious diseases, is the cleanliness. And you mentioned the cleanliness of the hospital, but sometimes you can't see the microscopic organism. So we've purchased and invested in a UV robot to help to take care of that. So it actually, once we clean a room by the human cleans the room with the chemicals.
I'm listening intensely to this. This is cool.
We take the robot into the room, and there's a safety mechanisms on it. You shut the door, you attach a magnet to a metal sign, then you shut the door. That allows the robot to kick into play, and it flashes a UV flash that eliminates any other organism that's in there. So you take that, you do one half the room, you move it to the other half the room, and then you zap that, you zap the bathroom. So now you're guaranteeing that the room has no organisms left.
I have never heard of this one before.
Yeah.
I gotta get one for my house.
Yeah. So we do that now as well. So when you discharge off the med-surg unit, once that room is cleaned, it now gets UV'd as well. Same thing with our OR. So once your case is done, we UV the room. So the next patient coming in there, we can guarantee that. We do this with other rooms where we store our stuff. We store our scopes and medical equipment. We'll UV those rooms as well, just to make sure that the equipment that we cleaned and we sterilized stays clean. So these are things that as I look at the forecast, if you will, of diseases, of chronic conditions, of where the county's heading, where the healthcare industry is heading. This is where my job is to take a look at that and say, okay, we need to tailor our menu of services, if you will, to meet these demands. And that doesn't happen quickly, but that's why you're always on like a 3-year plan, 5-year plan to kind of make that happen.
Wow. I'm sitting here thinking, people are listening to you right now from all over the county, all over the state, perhaps, wherever. Westfield is open to anybody?
Yep.
What about people that come into the county for tourism, or they have cottages and things? Is that an issue?
Nope, not an issue at all.
Take all insurances and that sort of thing?
We take everything. So so for testing though, we take everything for emergencies. Let me rephrase that. So if you're having an emergency, certainly come on in. We stabilize the condition, and then we worry about the financing later. That's always the secondary piece. Testing though, however, we do try to make sure we have the right insurances paired up.
So if you need to do some labs or whatever.
Correct. Yeah. There are examples of patients that their insurance doesn't cover the service at Westfield, but maybe they'll cover it at another facility. Mm-hmm. We'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Hey, if you do it here, it's going to cost you X amount of dollars. If you do it somewhere else, it may be covered by insurance. To let the patient make that decision.
That's smart.
Yeah.
Okay. We're down to like 6.5 minutes, so I don't want to.
Sure.
Stay on one topic too long, but you've got a big weekend coming up. Let's make sure we cover that.
Yeah. So 80 years Westfield's been at Westfield Memorial has been in the community of Westfield, and so we're having our 80th year celebration next weekend, September 10th, from 9 to noon. And really, we want to make sure that we acknowledge the how long the hospital's been serving this community. But we also wanted to tie in some of our community health needs assessment that we're talking about, and so we're going to be doing some colon cancer screenings that we'll be doing. And basically, it's if you've ever heard of the Colon Guard card, where you smear some stool on it, you mail it into the lab. We'll have those available to patients. That'll be free, and they can use that and mail it in. We'll have a prepaid envelope that you can mail that in, so you don't have to cost you anything. And then if it's positive, which you don't want it to be positive, but if it is, then we connect you with the next level, which would be getting a colonoscopy done to see why is it positive. Right. So that'll be part of that. The other thing we'll be doing is some cooking demonstrations with our chef. She'll be showing you how to make some healthy snacks, stuff that you can make at home, and we'll give you the recipes for those.
This is going to be in the hospital?
Well, it'll be hopefully outside.
Big tent.
Yep. Yeah. So far, I'm watching the weather. It doesn't look too bad for Saturday, so we should be okay. But part of, I feel, our responsibility is to not only take care of you, but also teach you how to make a healthy snack for yourself, and how to watch your blood sugar. We'll be doing blood pressure monitoring there as well. Hoping to get a fire truck there, but that's always up in the air, because if they're out, they're out. They have a need to serve as well, but also to help promote health activity. We're also going to be doing a 5K walk, so it'll go through town, We'll actually have two paths. It'll be a 1 mile path and then a 5K path. So if you can't make a full 5K, there's other options to do that. And really, that's to promote physical activity. That's one of the foundation blocks of remaining healthy, is being active and staying healthy. And
Okay,
so
let's talk about the 5K or the walk. So is there a registration table, or how's that work?
You can register there. If you haven't registered, there are signs throughout town, a little QR code you can register on your phone. So you can do that. There's the big sign in Westfield at the park. There's the information there with the QR code there.
What time does that start, the walk?
The walk starts at registration starts at 9, and then the walk would start at 10.
Okay. I'm writing this all down for next week.
Sure. Yep.
Okay. And so basically, it's just everybody get out in the school for a walk.
Right. Well, we want to have that community feel. We already have it inside the hospital. I want to make sure that we continue to maintain that.
It sounds to me like you're doing a lot of prevention here. You know, saying if you do this, you'll be healthier. Cologuard. Don't be afraid. Get tested.
Right.
Because then, early detection is better than
That's
late
key.
detection.
Absolutely. And colon cancer is one of those cancers that grows very slowly. So if you catch it early, you literally can deal with it very quickly and very easily.
It done.
Versus letting it grow until you have to have a colostomy in a bag
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So there's a lot of benefit to that.
Super. All right. And just jumping on September 10th of next week is going to be a busy Westfield weekend also, because you got a lot of other activities going on. So it's going to be a great weekend in Westfield.
Yes, it will.
To get out and check it out. And the hospital is right there on Main Street. Just as you're going towards Fredonia, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
On the left.
Yeah, yep, right on the left-hand
Okay.
side. Yeah, right off of Route 20. And
You can almost drive by it too quick and don't realize
You
it's
can.
kind of down in there.
you can, yes.
Yeah.
In fact, my first time there, it's exactly what I did.
And it's free, and it's free parking.
Yes, it is. Yeah, parking will be in the school. So yeah, and so for the event, you can park at the school and then walk over. If you're there for services, for yourself, you just park for free at the hospital.
And that's the part I love so much.
You don't get that at a lot of bigger facilities. Yes, that's for sure.
Okay, folks, you've been watching Chautauqua Sunrise, and my guest today has been Rodney Buchanan, and we are going to wrap things up here in a second about Westfield Memorial Hospital. So, anything else you want to share? Any other items? Because we're down to about a minute and a half here.
Yeah, I just want to actually just thank the community for their support of us. This is I look at Westfield as it's an all-in venture, right? It's not only the employees who do an exceptional job of taking care of people, but it's the community helping to take care of us as well. And that partnership, I think, is key to remaining viable and remaining strong within this community. We clearly recognize our place here. We know our capabilities. We know what we can do. We know when we got to move you out. But we also know the importance of being here, because I've had multiple patients who've come through with emergencies that if we wouldn't be here, they probably wouldn't be here either.
Right.
And so that's the importance of it, which is why we want to have this event. It's kind of a thank you to the community, but also help you to live a healthier lifestyle. I definitely take that responsibility personally. As the hospital administrator, I think that's part of my job, is to really not only look after the hospital, but look after the community as well. So I appreciate you guys allowing me to come on and
Absolutely.
and
We
talk
appreciate
about
you
the
supporting us.
hospital.
We support you. The same thing. If people have a question about the hospital in general, is there a number they can call?
I don't have the number memorized in my head. There's a number we can call for the event itself. It's 716-793-2338.
Okay.
And that will ring you to Patty, and Patty will be able to funnel the calls from there. But even if you had a question about the hospital and you call that number, she can forward it on to me. That's
and
not a
there's
problem.
in the phone book. I just and if they have a question about anything, who do they talk to? Just anybody, or
You can ask for me. Just ask for Rodney Buchanan.
Okay.
Yep. And
Super.
I answer calls all the time and talk to a lot of
that's
people.
unusual in a big hospital. Let me talk to the boss. No, you're not going to talk to the boss. Okay, Rod, thanks for joining us today, and let's do this again sometime.
Sure.
Keep us updated. We appreciate you, and I know that my family's used your services. I've used your services, so it's so good to know that we have something close by.
Thank you.
That's a wrap for another Saturday morning, folks. I hope you learned something about Westfield Memorial Hospital. 80 years old. Woo-wee. So we're going to do this next week, and as I said, we've got a great lineup for the rest of the month. Today was a kickoff, and thanks for joining me. Have a great Labor Day weekend. Be safe. If you're drinking out there, fine. Have somebody drive you home, will you? And be safe. Enjoy the weekend the best you can. And it looks like the weather should be pretty okay. Till then, take care. Bye-bye.